Oh, I just got back. Me and the coworkers went out to eat after work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I lost track of time. Low key was out there, and I was like, "Oh snap! I gotta head back."
That's
But we here now, man.
right.
All right, what you been up to today?
Not much, man. I guess curing a little bit of a hangover from last night, watching all the games today. So
The you watching college?
yeah. There were several games that were really good. So I went over to Mitch's and watched them. So
Oh, but Mitch don't want to get on the cast tonight. That's crazy. All righty. Well, first, I guess ladies and gentlemen, we got two big topics we want to talk today. First of all, Mark, I want to appreciate you for stepping in because I haven't released a Guard 615 episode in like 2 weeks, and I did not want it
yeah.
to be 3 weeks in a row. So my boy Mark stepped up, came through. Let's talk about the Batman movie, and then we're gonna segue to the Titans. All right. I know we're all over the place, but how about that movie?
Phenomenal.
Okay, so all right, so we both agree for now. I know everybody wants to compare the Christian Bale, the Batman trilogy versus this. What's your thought on the comparison of the two?
They're different. They're different, in the aspect of if you're going to compare Bruce Wayne, Batman, they're just it's a different feel. You know what I mean? The tone's different. Pattinson plays a different Batman than Bale.
Right.
Bale's more. I think Bale is probably a better Bruce Wayne per se, but at the same time, I had no problem with Pattinson's Bruce Wayne because he's emo, he's dark. That's who he is.
Right. That's Batman.
That's who he is.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I thought Pattinson was fantastic. Actually, Pattinson's probably my favorite Batman. Now, I mean, he just killed that role.
Yeah, I agree. I've been telling people I try not to hype up movies when people haven't seen it yet because I don't want them to go in with too high expectations.
Right.
But people when they ask me like, well, is it better than Christian Bale's? I'm like, all I tell them is this: look, in my opinion, it's my favorite version of Batman.
And I can't disagree with you. Now, like The Dark Knight for me, still my favorite Batman movie of all time, and that's just because Heath Ledger's performance.
Yeah. Right.
But hey, Matt Reeves did his damn thing on that movie, man. He's gonna have 2 more to go, and so it could happen.
And my favorite part about this, Batman's been rebooted I don't know how many times,
right?
And it's been the same kind of story almost,
right?
This is almost it's a different story because we're seeing Batman. This is the first time we get to see a year or two back, so it's an early Batman,
right?
And he's young.
Yes, he is.
The young Batman, and you see his process in this movie. I'm gonna try to talk about it without because it just came out without spoiling too much. But you see his process, and you see, oh, this is how he becomes that. Batman 10 years down the road, how he becomes the most unbeatable guy possible.
Right.
You see that process because even in the movie they put in where he makes mistakes in the movies.
Absolutely.
The time where he hits the bridge, and so he makes mistakes.
Batman,
Exactly. Where you're like, oh, veteran Batman makes no mistakes, very rarely makes mistakes. But in this, you see him make mistakes because he's only year 2 in.
And I love that because that is spot on to the comics as like anything. Like Batman Year One, he was
rough. He was rough.
Right. He was doing all sorts of reckless shit.
Right.
In that comic. And it was the same thing in this movie, and that's why I loved it. Exactly. It was just so spot on to the comics for me, and it hinted at a lot of my favorite Batman comics. I'm a huge Batman fan, so I love that movie. I thought it was great. I know they're gonna have a bunch of spin-off series coming off it with HBO Max. It's gonna be good. It looks like it's gonna be their bell cow. I think that's where they're gonna go.
I was like, DC's on something, and it's set what, maybe early '90s, so like before the technology really.
Right. So, well, I don't know because
I don't know when it was set, but
I don't want to spoil it because
but hey, the car's in the trailer.
So that thing's mean.
That car when in the theater
God.
when that car, bro, what?
Hey, it hit different. Yeah, it was different.
Cause I watched the trailer, I was like, "That's a Batmobile." I was like, I don't know, man.
Thing.
When he turned that thing on in the movie theater,
yeah, that thing's a monster. That thing. I looked. Of course, I went and saw with Mitch. I looked at Mitch. I just started shaking my head. I was like, "This is it's just too good." Oh my God,
it's worth all 3 hours.
I mean, and as a movie too. Ignore the it being a comic book movie. Ignore that. It's a fantastic film. It's shot beautifully. It has a great script. It stays to what it is. I mean, the first, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but the first 30 seconds in that movie, you already know what kind of movie you're going to get. It stays like that the whole 3 hours. Yeah. And it does not go away from it. You know what you're going to get from the moment that movie starts all the way to the finish.
Now, let me ask you this. Where does DC go from here? Here's what I've been thinking, because we know the Flash is not being rebooted because he's getting his movie, and either that Aquaman's pretty set because they hit pretty well with the Aquaman's. Wonder Woman's not being rebooted, even though the second one wasn't very good. The first one's phenomenal. So Wonder Woman's not going anywhere. But Superman, Batman, because we know Henry doesn't want to be Superman. And now we got this new Batman after they've rebooted it for the 6th time. Where do you think this falls in?
Yeah,
go ahead.
I've been reading a lot. I actually was reading about something before we started because I know I sent you a couple of days ago because they moved back a lot of their movies. A lot of them.
Yeah, I saw they moved back Black Adam.
And a lot of people think, and it probably is true, they moved all that back because they're Discovery bought HBO. They bought they bought Warner Brothers. They bought AT&T. Yes. So Discovery is a merger that's about to happen because AT&T sold all of that to Discovery. So Discovery, I don't know when that's going to go through. I guess in the next year. So, and then I read something that's why that happened, and that Ben Affleck's Batman isn't going anywhere because Ben Affleck's Batman is in the new Flash, and so is Michael Keaton's Batman because that new Flash movie is inspired by Flashpoint Paradox.
Right.
So apparently, now I don't know how true it is. It's just because it's the internet, right?
Right.
But from the article I read, Ben Affleck's Batman will stay in the DCEU. It'll be completely separate from Robert Pattinson and all that. So
that does make things. That's interesting because at this point I want Robert Pattinson's Batman to be the MCU.
I agree.
I want it to be the Batman, in the mix of the Justice League and stuff. But then again, that actually makes sense because Ben Affleck's Batman is veteran Batman,
right?
And the Robert Pattinson is. It's almost like the Robert Pattinson is like a prequel to the Batman versus Superman kind of, since it's before, it's early. So now that kind of makes sense how they're doing that. But then this is the problem DC's been having is the switching of characters. Because, we've had so many Jokers, but they're keeping, it's the same Joker, but they had different actors. Right. So now they're changing act. That's actually super interesting how, if you think about timeline wise, the Robert Pattinson, this is essentially a young Ben Affleck Batman.
Right.
It's gonna be interesting, but I'm excited for that Black Adam's my favorite anti-hero.
He looks great.
I just hope it's not corny. The Rock's movies can get a little corny. I love them, but
I don't think it will be. I think it's gonna be serious. I think it's gonna be dark. You get that kind of vibe from the trailers. And
because he's talking about one of the darkest characters. He's killed I don't know how many people with his bare hands. He's talking about dark.
Yeah, he looks real serious in that role. I don't think he's gonna. Now, if he did, that'd be disappointing. But I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got the right people. Like, hey, his character is not goofy at all. So people to tell him like this is his character. And, The Rock's smart. He's not gonna mess them up like that.
Right.
Flashpoint, so excited for the next I actually have the Flashpoint comics that I don't know.
They're fantastic.
Oh yeah. And then Aquaman, the second Aquaman's coming out, looks good. Is there another one that I'm missing that comes out this year?
They moved Shazam up to like December of this year.
Oh, that's right.
So you'll get to Shazam too. I mean, I like Shazam, but it's not nothing I'm super excited about. Like same. I'll go see it because I like the first one.
I like the comics way more than the movie. The movie was all right, but like, and the comic Shazam is one of my favorites.
Yeah. I mean, like the Flashpoint was the one I was the most excited for, and that's got moved way back. So because I think they moved Black Adam 3 months.
Yeah, it's in later. October, right?
I think something like that. I think they moved it back like 3 months from when it was originally gonna release this year. So I think you still get it this year. It's just
pushed back.
Yeah.
But I think that's all I wanted to talk about for DC. A lot of excitement. I just hope that, I like Marvel more than DC. I'm Marvel over DC, but I still like DC, and I want their movies to be. I want their movies to compete with Marvel because it keeps, both of them are competing each other. And they're both dropping bangers. It keeps both of them honest and on their toes, so they can't slack and make a bad movie. I want that competition to keep both of them up there. So I think they're on to something. So
I did too. I think they've done a good job. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the latest or the newest Suicide Squad yet.
Yeah, I have.
Okay. They did a spinoff with the Peacemaker character, John Cena.
Have you watched that?
Yeah, it's good.
It's
really good. Yeah. It's really funny too.
Really?
It's very Deadpoolish.
Oh, for
extremely,
real?
Yes. Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna have to watch it then, because I saw the trailer. I was like, I don't know, it looks kind of just like goofy, kind of like.
It is, but
like a Deadpool goofy. I can get with
Deadpool goofy. Yes.
I'll give it a shot then, because I was so like on the fence. And I kept like, I'll watch something else.
It's gory like that. It's got the Deadpool humor to it. Yeah.
I got on my list then. That's all. I just needed somebody to say.
Because James Gunn did the Suicide Squad, and he did that series. James Gunn's the guy that does the Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay.
He's double dipping.
Yeah. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna put that on my list. All right. Now we're gonna talk about. For those of you that don't know, they're listening. Mark and I are probably the biggest Titans fans you'll ever come across, and I don't even know where to start, because I actually got together. So I was on my brother's podcast and we talked about the Titans, whatever. And I didn't know what we're going to talk about. So I literally got everything. I got the offensive line ratings. I got the stats by position, running back, receiver. I put our top 3 receivers. Like, I got everything. And what do you think it's going to take for the Titans to basically to do what they did this year? Like, honestly, I think I think they just need to try to go for that number 1 AFC spot and just try to get a first round. That's the goal. What do they need, in your opinion? Let's just start there.
A quarterback, but other than that, and I used to be the biggest Ryan Tannehill believer, but I fell off him after this playoff game.
Go ahead.
If he doesn't throw the ball to the Bengals 3 times, the Bengals aren't going to the Super Bowl. Titans win that game. I mean, it's just that simple. I mean, they really dominated the Bengals, especially up front.
He got sacked 9 times, right?
Yeah.
It's the most times a quarterback's been sacked and still win a game.
Ever. Yeah. Which is good. They re-signed Harold Landry and they kept that front 4 together, because they're nasty and they get after it. That defense is still going to be very good. They let go of Saffold, which I understand because he's a really good offensive lineman, but he's getting older. He was hurt a lot this year. and you can't justify that money. You can move that money. I wonder if they try to get him to sign a cheaper deal, maybe come back on a 1-2 year deal, but take less money.
Now, here's what I will say. Now, in terms of quarterback, I'm kind of I'm on the fence because, like you said, I like Ryan Tannehill. I'm not gonna,
right.
It's tough because he's
done great things too.
Right, like he was.
You see it,
right? You see that they finished first AFC for a reason, and 9 games without Derrick Henry. When Derrick Henry went down, everybody was like, "Oh, that's it for the Titans." But
you're right. Yeah.
Hell, we secured the number 1 spot after Henry got hurt. It's not like we had it before,
right?
And ranking wise, Tannehill finished top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
He did.
But I think in terms of with Tannehill, all they really need to do, if you don't want to make like a box office move to get a giant core, is get a guy and get a guy as a backup that's gonna keep Tannehill on his toes.
Right.
If you got a quarterback that, the guy behind him, he knows he's not going to play or knows he's not ready, quarterback can slack. But if you bring in a guy that has the potential to take his spot every week, you get the best version of Ryan Tannehill. I think if they do that, they'll be fine.
Because that's what they did with him and Mariota. That's why they brought Tannehill in.
Exactly. Exactly. But where is it at? So I want to talk about the defense real quick because I do think their defense front 7 is solid. Their points per game.
They're ridiculous.
Rush defense second in the NFL.
Yeah.
Third down conversion 6th in the NFL. Points allowed per game tied for 5th. So you're talking about
top 5 defense.
Oh yeah. The only problem I have with the defense, passing defense 25th.
Yeah, they're secondary. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the secondaries. Now safety wise, I think it's great. You got Kevin Byard, and I broke this down by position. So where is it at?
Monty Hooker was really good this year too for him.
Is that
he was a strong.
And Kevin Byard's the free, right?
Yes.
Oh, safeties. Byard, Hooker, they both finished top 5 safeties in the NFL. So you got 2 top 5 safeties in the NFL.
Yeah.
The corners as a group ranks 16th in the NFL. Middle of the pack, but if I think so draft picks, we have 1 first-round draft pick and a 3rd-round draft pick. I think 7 total picks. I think with their first rounder, probably take an O-lineman because our O-line was ranked 16th, and our left guard, starting guard, Staffold, graded out at a 69.
Yeah, and they released him. So
they released him. Yeah, and then Nate Davis was the right guard. He graded out as a 69 as well. You got 2 starters grading out in the 60s. So I think you probably take a offensive, probably a guard or offensive tackle first round. That 3rd round pick, I think you got to pick up another second, even though you picked up a secondary with your first pick last year, a corner.
Right.
Granted, he was hurt and he was playing well before he got hurt. So I think you give him, let him heal, give him a full training camp. I say you try to give him a full season to then evaluate him after a full healthy season. But I think that 3rd round pick, you pick up probably a corner.
Yeah, I think the future looks a lot better with Farley and Molden. I mean, Molden was a very good slot corner for them this year as a rookie.
Yeah.
Jackrabbit, that's the question mark, and they haven't released him yet. But I mean, he was kind of a disappointment. I mean, he was supposed to be the guy on the other side to lock down the field, and he just got burnt all the time, and he was just not as good as what he usually is. So I'm interested to see what they do with him. He could be a cap casualty.
Yeah, because I'm looking because the secondary as a whole is ranked 7th, but the corners as individual groups ranked 16th. So safety groups probably ranked like 2nd or 3rd in the NFL.
Right. Yeah. And you know what you have in Fulton. Fulton played pretty good this year. So I mean, it's really going to determine if they, believe Caleb Farley is ready to go, that his knee's completely healed, that he's good to go.
Right.
I guess. I mean, because that's what they had to decide. I mean, because if you cut Jackrabbit, that's where you're going. You're putting Caleb Farley out there on the other side of the field and saying, dude, you got to hold down this side. You got to hold it down.
Right. Now, let me ask you this. Going to the offensive side of the ball, are you trying to bring back Julio? Or what are you doing with Julio for you?
He showed flashes in that playoff game of his old self, going across the middle, making tough catches, contested catches. I don't know, man. I don't want to say he's washed. I don't think he's washed. But he's not nearly as explosive as what he was. Which
right.
I mean, he's older, which makes sense. He's coming off injuries. I don't know, man. I think they've missed their window if they wanted to move him.
Right.
Because they're not going to cut him.
No. Now, I think with Julio, the way I'm thinking about it is obviously with his production, age, and injury rap sheet, obviously if he comes back, it's going to be a 1 year. He's probably only signing 1 year deals for the rest of his career.
Right.
Unless he has another, unless he gets a show out year, then maybe gets a 2-year contract.
He would have to have 1,000-yard receiving year this year, 8-9 touchdowns. He would have to put up big numbers, and then someone would probably give him, a 3-year deal or something like that.
But signing 1 year deal, I don't think, in my opinion, it wouldn't hurt. Let's say he wants to come back, right? And you say, all right, well, we're just going to sign you to a 1 year deal. And then after that, we'll keep signing you to 1 year deals if you want to stay. And then from there, if you want to leave, you can leave.
Right.
So I don't think it would hurt to, you still got a Julio Jones. You still got a guy that if you get the ball to him, he's going to catch the ball.
Yeah.
So I think
he demands respect on the field. I mean, that's
right.
He's got the name brand. It's Julio Jones. You can't just, you
still got to respect him regardless.
You got to respect him.
Right.
I mean, you saw it. You saw it in the playoff game. I mean, AJ was cooking, and they still didn't shade the safety help over to him because they had to respect Julio.
Right. Yeah. Because exactly. Yeah. So I think keeping them just for that, to where you're gonna have matchup problems where it's all right, you got to either double Julio or double AJ, but you got to double one or the other.
Right.
Can't double both. And then they re-signed Nick Westbrook, which I thought was
he's a good little player.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good for what they use him for. He's not special. He's not gonna change the game or make a miraculous catch, but he does his job, and that's what you need him to do.
Now, the only problem I see in terms of passing, tight ends.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess you saw the news that old Tommy boy came back out of retirement today. So.
Oh, really?
Yes, he did. He's coming back out to play another year with the Bucs. And the Titans were being linked to Rob Gronkowski, and there was a mutual interest there. So that, with Tom coming back, that's not going to happen.
Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Breaking news for anybody that doesn't know, by the time this podcast, which everybody probably will because I'm going to put out tomorrow, but Brady, 1 month in retirement, is ready to
back.
He's back.
Yeah.
But I think we all
50, man.
I think we all saw this coming. Yeah.
I knew he wasn't going to go out like that. With the way they lost to the Rams, I was like, that's just not Tom Brady. No way.
Maybe if they had won the Super Bowl, I could see him being okay. I'm gonna go out with a dub, and I'm good.
Right, I'm done. Because that'd be what, Super Bowl
8,
7, 8? I don't know.
It would be 8. Yeah.
I mean, the way they lost that game, I looked at Mitchell. I was like, that dude's not done. And then when he announced his retirement, I was like, I just never believed it. Like you said, I was just like, he's not done. He's just recharging his batteries right now, getting away from football and stuff, and that's all it was.
Yeah. But because crazy. So is who's the starting tight end for? Well, here's my thing.
It was Firkser.
Okay,
but they don't. I don't think they have one tight end under contract. All of them were free agents.
That's right. That's what I thought. Because I was looking up their tight ends and
like Pruitt, Swaim, Firkser. They were all free agents.
Yeah, because I saw they had listed Firkser actually under as the second string. So I looked at his number. I was like, he's got the most production. How's he? But then again, with the tight ends, it gets tough to evaluate them because you're talking about the Tennessee Titans with the best run game. So we aren't going to use our tight ends like other teams because. We're gonna have we have blocking tight. If you're gonna be a tight end for the Titans, you're blocking 80-85%. You're blocking.
Yeah, I think they're going to draft one. I don't think going out and trying. Of course I'd want Zach Ertz. He's a great player.
Right.
But I don't think that's the right way to go, because if that's the case,
that's
you're
not.
You're going to give Zach Ertz all that money, but you didn't give Jonnu Smith, who's been in your offense since day one, knows your offense, and was very good in your offense. You're not going to give him that money? You're going to let him walk? That doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
So maybe they'll sign maybe a second-tier guy like Hayden Hurst, or maybe an Evan Ingram or somebody like that. But even though Evan Ingram will probably think he needs to break the bank, but
they do have 2 4th-round picks. That would be too bad of a time to go for a tight end, 4th round.
Right.
Especially if you get 2 4th-rounders, you could probably do, if you still want another offensive lineman, 4th round, depending on your 1st and 3rd round, you could do like a tight end offensive line, or tight end, maybe you could do a corner second. You could do a corner guy, or maybe linebacker. I think you're good at linebacker, honestly.
Oh, I do too.
Front 7, I don't think with draft. Maybe if you want some depth, I don't know how good their depth is, but honestly, D line and linebacker, you could almost go without drafting a single player in that spot.
I mean, they're loaded there. I mean,
yeah.
I know they're probably going to let Jayon and Rashawn walk. I think if they were to keep either one of those two, it'd be Jayon, then to try to keep them on a cheap deal. But now the question is, because I've heard a lot of rumors about maybe Zach Cunningham, because they claimed him off waivers late in the year last year. Will they cut him because of his cap number? Because it's pretty high for a linebacker. So I mean, they haven't yet. And
right.
I mean, free agency starts this week, right? I mean,
does it?
I think it starts the 16th or something, right? I think so.
Yeah.
Which, if they just go into next year with Cunningham and David Long in the middle, that's pretty freaking good. And then you have Monty Rice coming in when you need him, and he played great as a rookie too.
Yeah, March 16th. Yeah, that is this week. Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, David Long was a monster. I hope he keeps that play up, But I mean, he may have been one of the best linebackers in the whole league this year. I don't know what they graded him out as, but I'm sure he was up there. I mean, he just was all over the field, made plays. I mean, locked down Travis Kelce when they played the Chiefs. I mean, he's a really good player, and they found him in the 6th round. So,
oh yeah. I mean, yeah. The Titans are right there. I mean, yeah.
What sucks? 20 years ago, they would have won a Super Bowl. The game's so different, and it's like, I hate to be like this, but I think it's true. I think you have to have an elite quarterback to win now.
You have to.
I mean, a lot of people, Stafford's not elite. Stafford's elite. He's a great quarterback.
He's for sure an elite quarterback. Yeah,
that's why Tannehill to me is just a step underneath that. It is what it is.
Yeah, I think Stafford's an elite quarterback. Now, career-wise, you could argue that, but this past year, he had an elite season.
Oh,
you could say that, looking at what he did to get to the Super Bowl. Because you got to be able to if you're, especially in the AFC, you got to be able to outscore Patrick Mahomes. You got to be able to outscore Lamar Jackson. You have to be able to outscore these guys that can
Joe Burrow,
that can drop 40-something points a game. So you have to have a quarterback to be able to outscore these quarterbacks. So you got to have an elite quarterback for sure.
Oh yeah, I really bought into the Aaron Rodgers stuff when they said he was moving to get a house in Franklin. That stuff, and then he signed that deal back with Green Bay. I mean, good for him though. I knew he wasn't going to get that money anywhere else. There's no way he could turn that down.
No, not at all. But
yeah, that sucked. I was like, oh, he's moving to Tennessee. He's giving them some signals here.
Right, man. That'd be crazy. That would have been. And then I'm not gonna lie. Well,
they would have won a Super Bowl.
No, I don't think with Devontae, you think Devontae would have tried to come with Rodgers?
I don't. I think
you don't think that would have. I don't even think that would have been possible.
Yeah, because they could tag him, in which they would have if he was like, I'm not signing a contract. But I also think if Rodgers walked or they traded Rodgers, they had to trade him. Obviously, he had 1 year left on his deal before they extended it. I think Devontae, they would have, if they traded Rodgers, they were going to make Devontae the richest receiver in the league.
Well,
no question. Question. So, no, I don't think so. I think Devontae would have been tagged to prevent from him just walking, and then they would have tried to trade him, or they would have just, like I said, made him the richest receiver in the league, which he probably is going to be that anyway. But
I like Devontae and Rodgers' relationship though. You could tell they're like really close because you can tell like Rodgers is kind of like hadn't made a decision yet, and then they're talking about Devontae. Devontae's like, I'm not making a decision until Rodgers decides. You can tell if Rodgers wasn't coming back or wasn't doing an extension.
Oh, he knew
Devontae's not. Like you can tell Devontae, I'm only here because he's here. If he's out, I'm out. You can tell they have that.
And that's why I think Green Bay would have tagged him. I mean, they're going to tag him now anyway.
Yeah,
because they don't have the money for it.
That 1 year.
And then they would have traded him or something. They would have tagged him and then try to trade him, get whatever they
for him. Yeah, you don't ever want somebody to walk like Devontae. You can pretty much get
no
in a trade.
No.
All right, the last section I want to talk about is probably the most underappreciated, overlooked section and when it comes to football analysis is special teams. Because we all forget,
it's a huge part of the game.
Yeah, I know when I say we, not me and you, because I know you know the game like you could coach, right? But as fans, you forget that special teams is a third of the game.
It's extremely important.
Extremely important because it sets a field position. It sets based on field position.
It could change the game. It can completely change the game. One bad punt. It changes the game.
Momentum swing. Next thing you know.
A lot of people don't know that. I mean, you obviously played the game at a way higher level than I did, but a bad special teams play. I mean, you get a long return, blocking it back. You take it back from the spot of the foul.
Oh yeah.
It can just kill everything.
Everything. Now, here's what I want to say. The Titans, how about this? Take a guess, a stab at the Titans special teams ranking.
I'm sure they were pretty high up. I mean, Brett Kern was one of the best punters. I mean, I know it wasn't his best year that he's had, but he had a pretty good year. And
think overall, all special teams.
I'd say they were probably top 8?
28.
Oh God. Though they did give up a lot in the return game. I mean, especially kickoff.
It was correct. So in the rankings, it was the defensive side that shafted their rankings,
not the offensive side.
Right.
Yeah.
So like in terms of punting and stuff like that, fantastic. But in terms of opponents kickoff return yards given was 25th. So they were in the bottom sector of basically your kickoff team can't cover. Right. They're where is it at? Punt average, it's 25th. But punt, it's a little different because if you're punting from the 50, it can mess up your numbers. So some of this is a little different, but opponents 28th, right? Now some of them are good, like field goals, extra points made was 9th. Overall kick return yards 5th in the NFL. So our kick return team is actually pretty good this year.
Yeah.
But overall 28th, I think to help the Titans get to that next level, yes, offense and defense is important, but if you can have a top 10 special teams,
it changes the game, bro.
Everything.
It just does. When you flip field, it changes
your percentages of scoring go up drastically. If you get the ball to 20, you have I think it's a 5% chance of scoring the ball if you get the ball and you're on like 10. If you get the ball to 50, you have it goes up from 60%.
I mean,
you score more times than not if you get the ball on the 50-yard line.
You go 20 yards, you kick a field goal.
Bam, just like that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a lot of people don't realize how important it is, but it's probably one of the most important things in an actual football game. field position is crucial.
Yeah.
And if you're losing that battle, you're usually going to lose the game.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes.
It's tough. And I mean, and then it gets tough with terms of like what they need to do, because you talk about kick returners, you don't really just draft a guy for pure kick returning unless you're
Devin Hester
Thomas from Oregon.
Too. Yeah.
But I mean, so that
Devin
is just
Hester,
going to be Devin Hester. It's going to be just it's just going to be internal. And a lot of people on kickoff and special teams, they're the guys that don't start on offensive defense. They're your like second string, third string guys. So it's gonna be tough, but I obviously, I have faith in Coach Verbal. So
I mean, they might
get figured out.
They address this stuff in free agency. Sometimes they'll, sign a guy that's a special teams ace, that's a really good special teams player. I don't know. I mean, if one player is going to make that much of a difference on punt coverage, but
it could.
I mean,
you got those
if he's playing a gunner, if he's playing a gunner and he can get down the field and force a fair catch or get down there and he catches the ball and he hits him, I mean, it makes a difference. So
yeah. But man, that's all I had for the Titans breakdown. The analytics. You got anything, or what you want to do? Are we wrapping them up?
No, I mean, I'm good. I mean,
all righty. Well, then we can wrap it up then, because your boy got to get up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I got to be up at 5:45.
Oh yeah, see, yeah, you know that early wake up hit different, and we lost the hour, so I gotta get used to it. It takes me like a week to get used to losing that hour.
Yeah, bro. I same here.
But y'all heard it here. We did some Marvel movies, or it's Marvel. Sorry, we did some DC movies, some Titans breakdown. A little double dipping, but again, Mark, I appreciate you for coming in the clutch.
Of course, bro.
Mitch don't ever want to get on. That's all right, because Mark got my back.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
All righty. I appreciate it. All righty. Y'all heard it here first. Garden 615. We are out. Even if I touch a meal and do it through the pain, I don't need the pain. And life won't get me down, but it won't break my will. Cause I've been chasing this so long, I can't give up. I won't give in, been through too much. I done prayed for the money, I done prayed for the fame. I done prayed that I will make a sacrifice and play this game. I done prayed that my life would never be the same. I done prayed